Hi, hello, this is Giri, teaching 9th Mathematics, the chapter Real Numbers. Here is the introduction and key points from the chapter. Now, let us learn what are real numbers first of all. Here, look at this diagram. Here are some students jumping out with national flags in their hands. If I ask you to count how many students are there, you see students, if I ask you to count how many students are there, how many students are running out with national flags on roads, then how can you count? Then you may start counting from here. This is 1, the first boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can count like this. 1, this is the first person, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And finally you can say that there are 5 students who are showing more patriotism. Now look at this second diagram. Here is the picture of the Kabaddi League match between Telugu Titans and Patna Pirates, it seems. If I ask you to count how many players are there in the frame, then how can you count? You can start counting from here. You may start counting from here and you can say that he is the first person, this is 1, and this is the second person, 2, 3, next this person, 4, next this person, 5, next this person, 6. There are 6 players from Telugu Titans and one player from Patna Pirates. In total there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 players in the given frame. Okay dear students, you see here, this is a cube, and if you open it, you will get the net diagram of the cube. And if I ask you to count the number of faces of the cube, then from the net diagram you can count very easy. You see, this is the first face, second face, third, fourth face, fifth and sixth. You may count like this. Therefore, the number of faces of the cube is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You may count like this. Therefore, there are 6 faces in a cube. How many faces are there? There are 6 faces in a cube, isn't it? In all the above cases, if I ask you to count, then how did you count? From where did you start counting? You started counting like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and so on, like this you counted. You started counting from 1 and you counted like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on. These numbers are used to count the objects. Therefore, these numbers are called counting numbers. Okay? You can use the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and so on. You can use these numbers to count the objects. Therefore, they are called counting numbers. And you see, if you look at the numbers may start from 1. In this case, you may start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and later by getting a number 10 in which we have 1 and 0. In the next number 11 we have 2 ones, and in the next number 12 we have 1 and 2, like this. Therefore, we use the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0. These 10 are called digits, and these digits are useful to form numbers. Any number can be formed by these 10 digits only. Therefore, how many digits are there? We have 10 digits. And what are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 0. These 10 are called digits, and we can form numbers by means of these digits. You see, for example, 1, 5, 10, 13, 28, 99, 123, 999, 1000 and so on. And all these numbers are formed by means of these 10 digits. Now, what are the different types of sets of numbers? You come across these sets of numbers in your previous classes. Yes, the first set of numbers is set of natural numbers. Natural numbers is denoted by the letter n, and these set of natural numbers may start from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on are called set of natural numbers. In this set of natural numbers, what is the least natural number? Good. 1 is the least natural number. And what is the highest natural number? Good, we cannot say. Therefore, the infinity is the highest or the maximum natural number. There is no highest natural number, but the least natural number is 1. Now, the difference between any two successive natural numbers is always 1. And again, if you add 1 to a preceding natural number, you will get the next natural number. For example, if you add 1 to 1, you will get 2. If you add 1 to 2, you will get 3. If you add 1 to 3, you will get 4. If you add 1 to 4, you will get 5. And so on, you can write all these natural numbers. Since n is the first letter in the word natural numbers, these natural numbers are denoted by the letter n. Next is whole numbers. Whole numbers may start from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on is set of whole numbers. And this set of whole numbers is represented by the letter W. This set of whole numbers is nothing but the set of natural numbers plus 0. If you add 0 to set of natural numbers, you will get set of whole numbers. Therefore, you can write set of whole numbers as 0, and this is union. 0 union n means natural numbers union. Unions means you have to sum up. Natural numbers plus the number 0. You will get set of whole numbers. And the next is set of integers. Set of integers is represented by Z. You see, the set of natural numbers is represented by n, and set of whole numbers is represented by W, as W is the first letter in whole numbers. But whereas in this case, integers are represented by Z, but not by I. Why? Because these integers are also called as Johlen numbers in German. In German, we can call integers as Johlen numbers. You can represent the integers with Z, Johlen. May start with Z, therefore these are represented by Z. These integers may start from minus infinity to minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2 and so on. This is nothing but the negative numbers union whole numbers. If we add negative numbers to the set of whole numbers, you will get integers. And in other words, if we add negative numbers and 0 to set of natural numbers, again you will get integers. The next set of numbers is rational numbers. The rational numbers is represented by the letter Q, but not with R. Q stands for quotient. You see, rational number is a number which is in the form of P by Q. Any number in the form of P by Q is called a rational number, but the condition is P and Q should be integers and Q should not be equal to 0. Rational numbers represented by the letter Q, and a number in the form of P by Q where P and Q are integers and Q not equal to 0 is called a rational number. A rational number is a number which is in the form of P by Q, a fraction form, P by Q, numerator by denominator, where both numerator and denominator should be integers and Q should not be 0. The denominator should not be 0. Such type of numbers are called rational numbers, and these rational numbers are represented by the letter Q. Q stands for quotient. Every natural number is a rational number, every whole number is a rational number, every integer is a rational number. Therefore 0, 1, minus 3, 1 by 2, minus 4 by 5, and all these are rational numbers. If you come to decimal numbers, 0.125, this is a terminating decimal, a rational number. Every terminating decimal is a rational number. This is 0.333 and so on. It is non-terminating but recurring. 3 is repeating. Therefore, non-terminating and recurring decimals are also rational numbers. And this is 12.4 and 7 is recurring. Therefore, it is again a rational number. And square root of 4 value is 2. Therefore, root 1, root 4, root 9, root 16, root 25 and all these are rational numbers. If it has perfect square root, then they are called rational numbers. Okay? Therefore, what is a rational number? A number which is in the form of p by q, where p and q are integers and q not equal to 0, that is denominator is not 0. Both numerator and denominator should be integers. Such type of numbers are called rational numbers. Please keep in mind, every natural number, every whole number and every integer is a rational number. You might have a doubt that if you look at 0, how 0 is a rational number? Because can you write 0 in the fraction form? You may have such doubt. Yes, 0 can be written in the fraction form. How? You can write 0 as 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 3. Therefore, it is in the form of p by q, where numerator is a rational number and of course denominator is not 0. 0 by 1, 0 by 2, 0 by 3. Therefore, it is a rational number. 1 means 1 by 1. You can write 1 as 2 by 2. You can write 1 as 3 by 3. Again, it is in the p by q form. Therefore, it is a rational number. Minus 3 means minus 3 by 1. Minus 6 by 2. Like this you can write. Therefore, this is also a rational number. Okay, is your doubt clear? Good. Note, all terminating decimals and non-terminating recurring decimals are always rational numbers. You see, I told you already. 0.125, it is a terminating decimal. 0.333 and so on, it is non-terminating recurring decimal. And 12.4777, therefore it is 12.4 and 7 is recurring, therefore again it is non-terminating recurring decimal. All terminating decimals and all non-terminating recurring decimals are always rational numbers. And the other type is irrational numbers. As you know that the rational numbers are represented by q, now irrational numbers are represented by q dash, or they are also represented with s. An irrational number is a number which is not rational. Right, 1, 2, 3. An irrational number is a number which is not rational. Every non-rational number is called an irrational number. Here are the examples for irrational numbers. Root 2, root 3, 1 by root 2, root 2 plus root 3, root 3 minus root 5, and 3.12568726 and so on, and pi. All these are examples for irrational numbers. Root 2, if you find the square root of 2, you will get a non-terminating and non-recurring number. And root 3 is also non-terminating decimal. 1 by root 2, root 2 plus root 3, and root 3 minus root 5, 3.125682726 and so on. Here, if you look at this decimal number, this is non-terminating, it has no end, and at the same time, nothing is repeating. It is not a recurring number, and it is not a terminating decimal. This type of decimal numbers are called irrational numbers. And again, pi is also an irrational number. Generally, in the place of pi, you may write 22 by 7. As you wrote pi in the form of a fraction 22 by 7, why it is not a rational number and how can you say that it is an irrational number, you may ask. Here, even though you can write pi is equal to 22 by 7, it is not its exact value. Pi value is not exactly 22 by 7. It is nearly equal to 22 by 7. The value of the pi is very nearly equal to 22 by 7. Therefore, it is an irrational number. Here is the note. Non-terminating and non-recurring decimal numbers are called an irrational number. If you look at this different types of numbers, you may come across natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. But our chapter is real numbers. Now what is a real number? So far you know natural numbers. You come across whole numbers. You learn what are integers. And you understood what is a rational number. And you also learned that how a number is an irrational number. Now what numbers are called real numbers? This is the name of the chapter actually. What are called real numbers? A real number is nothing but a union of rational and irrational numbers. If we join rational and irrational numbers together, then they are called real numbers. Means the union of rational numbers and irrational numbers together are called real numbers. Real number is nothing but the union of rational numbers and irrational numbers. Q union Q dash is set of real numbers, or Q union S is set of real numbers. S is used to represent irrational numbers. Q dash is also used to represent irrational numbers, whereas this Q is used to represent rational numbers. Therefore, the union of both rational and irrational numbers is called set of real numbers. If you observe this diagram, you can find here is the first circle. This is set of natural numbers. Natural numbers may start from 1, 2, 3 and so on. And this is set of whole numbers. The set of whole numbers may start from 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. Therefore, every natural number is a whole number. The circle N is included or inside the circle W. Therefore, every natural number is a whole number. Now this is the set of integers. Set of integers may start from minus infinity and end with plus infinity. Therefore, every natural number is an integer and every whole number is an integer. And besides whole numbers, there are negative numbers also in integers. Therefore, both natural numbers and whole numbers are inside the set of integers. And this is the set of rational numbers, which are in the form of p by q and q not equal to 0, and both p and q are integers. This is set of rational numbers. Every natural number is also a rational number. Every whole number is also a rational number, and every integer is also a rational number. You see, the circle N and the circle W and the circle Z are the parts of the total circle Q. Therefore, all these numbers are included in set of rational numbers. The different circle represent the set of irrational numbers. Therefore, the numbers which are not rational are called irrational numbers. These irrational numbers are represented by Q dash or S. Now, if you include the set of rational numbers and the set of irrational numbers together, if you sum up all these rational and irrational numbers, you will get set of real numbers. Now, let us learn some more important points from this chapter. The first point is, if n is a natural number other than a perfect square, then root n is an irrational number. If n is a natural number other than a perfect square, then root n is an irrational number. We know that 1 is a perfect square number, as 1 square is equal to 1. And 4 is a perfect square number because 2 square is equal to 4. And 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25, 6 square is 36 and so on. Therefore, this 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36 and all these numbers are called perfect square numbers. Now, if you find the square root of 1, you will get 1. If you find the square root of 4, you will get 2. If you find the square root of 9, you will get 3. Similarly, what is the square root of 16? Good, 4. What is the square root of 25? 5. What is the square root of 36? 6. It means, if you find the square root of any perfect square, you get a rational number. If you find the square root of 1, you will get 1. It is a rational number. If you find the square root of 4, you will get 2, a rational number. It seems, if you find the square root of any perfect square number, you will get a rational number. But whereas if you find the square root of 2, square root of 3, square root of 5, and all these numbers are not perfect squares, if you find the square root of these values by division method or some other method, you will get square root of 2 is 1.414 and so on. It is not ending by 4. And square root of 3, if you find the square root of 3, you will get 1.732 and so on. It is not ending with 2. Means all these square root values of non-perfect square numbers, you will get a non-terminating, non-recurring decimals. We know that non-terminating and non-recurring decimals are called irrational numbers. Therefore, root 2 is an irrational number, root 3 is an irrational number, root 5, root 6, root 7, root 8, all these are irrational numbers. But whereas root 1, root 4, root 9 means these are the square roots of the perfect squares, and those numbers are rational numbers. That is the point. Understood? Okay. Now, if I ask root 81, how can you say that whether it is a rational number or it is an irrational number? What can you say? Good. Root 81, you can write root 81 is equal to 9, a rational number. Since 81 is a perfect square, square root of 81 is a rational number. Then what about root 90? Root 90 is an irrational number because 90 is not a perfect square number. What about square root of 100? Good, square root of 100 is 10, a rational number. 100 is a perfect square number, therefore root 100 is a rational number. Good. Now look at the second point. If q is a rational number and s is an irrational number, then q plus s, q minus s, q into s and q divided by s are irrational. Here we have given a rational number and an irrational number. We have given two numbers. One is rational and the second is irrational. If we add them, means q plus s, or if you subtract one from the other, q minus s, or if you multiply them, q into s, or if you divide them, q divided by s. In all these four cases, you will get irrational number only. You see, if you have given a rational number and an irrational number, if you add them or if you multiply them or if you subtract them or if you divide one number with the other, you will get an irrational number. For example, 1 plus 2. 1 is a rational number, root 2 is an irrational number. If you add them, you will get an irrational number. 2 minus root 3, rational minus irrational is irrational. 3 into root 5 means it is 3 is a rational number and root 5 is an irrational number. If you multiply, the product is an irrational number. And 2 divided by root 3, 2 is a rational number, root 3 is an irrational number. If you divide, the quotient is an irrational number. Means if I have given a rational number and an irrational number, whatever their order, whether you add them, whether you add the rational number to irrational number or irrational number to rational number, you will get the same irrational number finally. 1 plus root is nothing but root 2 plus 1. If 1 plus root 2 is irrational, root 2 plus 1 is also irrational. Similarly, 2 minus root 3 is irrational, root 3 minus 2 is also irrational. 3 into root 5 is irrational and root 5 into 3 is also irrational. 2 divided by root 3 is irrational and root 3 divided by 2 is also irrational number. Is it clear? Good. Now look at third point. If a and b are any two positive real numbers, a and b are any two positive real numbers. We know that real numbers means the set of both rational numbers and irrational numbers together is called real numbers. Means if a number is either rational or irrational, it is called as real number. Here a and b are any two positive real numbers. You should consider positive real numbers. Then there are some properties to learn. The first is root over a into b. Root over a into b is root a into root b. And second point, root over a divided by b is equal to root a divided by root b, provided b not equal to 0 is the condition. What will happen if b is equal to 0? Look at the property. This b, where can you find b? B is in denominator place. Since b is in denominator place, if you equate it to 0, in any fraction if the denominator is 0, can you find the value of the fraction? Good. In any fraction if the denominator is 0, then the value of the fraction is undefined. Therefore, the condition here should be b not equal to 0. And third property, root a plus root b into root a minus root b is equal to a minus b. You observe this, root a plus root b into root a minus root b. This is in the form of a plus b into a minus b. We know that a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square. That is root over a whole square minus root b whole square. Root a whole square means square root and square will be cancelled. You will get a minus root b whole square means square root and square will be cancelled. You will get b. Understood? Now, fourth point. A plus root b into a minus root b is equal to a square minus b. A plus root b into a minus root b. This is again the same model, a plus b into a minus b, which is a square minus b square. A is a only, therefore it is a square, minus b means root b. Root b whole square is b. And fifth point, root a plus root b whole square is equal to a plus 2 root ab plus b. Here this is in the form of a plus b whole square. A plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Here a means root a. A square means root a whole square is a plus 2ab. 2 into root a into root b is 2 root ab plus b square means root b whole square is b. All these are the 5 properties that we have to learn in order to solve the problems from this chapter. Here I shall repeat, if a and b are any two positive real numbers, then root over ab is equal to root a into root b. For example, if I have given root 6, you can write root 6 as 2 into 3. 6 as 2 into 3. Therefore, root over 6 means root over 2 into 3, which is equal to root 2 into root 3. Understood? Similarly, root over 3 by 2 is equal to root 3 divided by root 2. Understood? Similarly, here in this case, root 3 plus root 2 into root 3 minus root 2 is 3 minus 2. You can use all these properties in order to solve problems from this chapter. Now, the next point. If n is an integer greater than 1 and a is a positive rational number, then nth root a is called as surd. Here n is an integer greater than 1. What are the integers greater than 1? Actually, what are integers? Integers may start from minus infinity, minus 2, minus 1, minus 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on up to plus infinity. But whereas here the integer is greater than 1, you should consider an integer greater than 1 means you should start from 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Integer greater than 1 is nothing but the whole numbers greater than 1 is also equal to the natural numbers greater than 1. What are the natural numbers greater than 1? 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Here n is an integer greater than 1 and the value of a is a positive rational number. Rational number means, do you know what is a rational number? Good. A number in the form of p by q is a rational number. Means, if n is an integer greater than 1 and a is a positive rational number, then nth root a is called as surd. Nth root a. Here this n, you should read this as nth root a. You should not write n before the square root. You should write n inside the square root. If you write n inside the square root, then you should read this as nth root a. If we write n before square root, then we should read it as n root a. N into root a or n root a. But if you write n like this, then you should read this as nth root a. Here n value, this n value is greater than 1, means 2, 3, 4, etc. And this a value which is inside the root value, which is 1, 2, 3, which is inside the root should be a rational number. Then nth root a is called as surd. The simple example for surd is square root 2, square root 3 or cube root of 5. All these are surds and we will learn about surds more in this coming chapter. Now another point, there is a unique real number that represents a point on number line. There is a unique real number that represents a point on number line. You see, we know that number line is nothing but a straight line. Now straight line means it extends up to infinity on both sides. Now can you count how many points will be there in a straight line? It is uncountable. We cannot count the number of points on a straight line. There are infinite points actually. Actually the definition of a straight line is the set of infinite points is called as straight line. Now on straight line, as we know that there are infinite points, every point represents only one real number, unique. Here you see there is a unique real number. Unique means only one, single. There is a unique real number that represents a point on a number line. If we consider a point, that point may be represented by only one real number. If we take another point, you will get another real number. Real number means it may be either rational number or it may be an irrational number. Therefore, it is clear that every point on the number line represents a rational number, either a rational number or an irrational number. Means, in other words, every rational number can be represented on the number line and every irrational number can also be represented on the number line. You observe this straight line. It is a straight line. For convenience, I took it as a dotted line. It is a straight line. Now on this straight line you can find so many points. Again, in between any 2 points in a straight line there are infinite points. Now you see there are infinite points on the straight line and I may consider some points. For example, I took some points and every point, this point represents one real number, it may be another real number and it is another real number, it is another real number. If we take any point, that point represents only one real number. It is another real number, it is another number, it is another real number, it is another real number, like this. Every point on this number line represents only one real number. You see, this point may be minus 7 by 5, it is a rational number. This point is minus root 5, it is an irrational number. And this point may be 1.821 and so on, it is an irrational number. It may be 0, rational number. It is 1, rational number. This is root 2, irrational number. This is pi, an irrational number. This may be 8 by 3, it is a rational number. And this point is 3.333 and so on, it is also a rational number. It is non-terminating and recurring, therefore it is a rational number. You see, every rational number may be represented on the number line and every irrational number can also be represented on the number line. Understood? Is it clear? Very good. Now, let us know how to represent a rational number on a number line first of all, and later we will learn how to represent an irrational number on the number line. Here is the question, how to represent rational numbers on a number line. Let us represent 1 by 3, minus 1 by 3, 0, 2 by 3 and minus 1 on number line. Again, to represent all these numbers, let us draw a straight line first of all. After drawing the straight line, let us take 3 points. Let us take 3 points with equal intervals and let us name the middle point with 0. And let us assign 1 to the right hand side point to 0. This is plus 1. And let us assign minus 1 to the left hand side point to 0. This is minus 1. After representing this 0 and this point with plus 1 and this point with minus 1, what to do is, we have to look at the given fractions. In all the given fractions, the denominator is 3, therefore the total distance from 0 to 1 is to be divided into 3 equal parts. Now, in order to divide it into 3 equal parts, let us take 2 points. This is one point and this is the second point. By means of these 2 points, the total distance from 0 to 1 is divided into 1, 2 and 3 equal parts. All these 3 parts are equal. Similarly, on the left hand side to 0, again let us divide the distance from 0 to minus 1 into 3 equal parts by means of these 2 points. After division, now if we observe this point is at a distance of 1 unit from 0 out of 3 units. Therefore, this point represents 1 by 3. And this point now, this point is at a distance of 2 parts out of the total 3 parts. This point is at a distance of 1 to 2 parts from 0 out of total 3 parts. Therefore, this point may be represented with 2 by 3. Similarly, on the left hand side to 0, here this point is 1 part distance out of 3 parts from 0 to minus 1. Therefore, this point may be represented by minus 1 by 3. And the second point now, this point is at a distance of 2 parts out of the total 3 parts from 0 to minus 1. Therefore, this is minus 2 by 3. After representing all these points with numbers, we have to find where 1 by 3 lies. If you observe this number line, it is very clear that this point represents 1 by 3. Therefore, let us box this point so that this value is 1 by 3. This point represents 1 by 3. Next is minus 1 by 3. If you observe here, you can find minus 1 by 3 at this point. Therefore, this point represents minus 1 by 3. Let us box this point. Next is 0. This is the point where you can find 0. It is very clear there. Next value is 2 by 3. Where can you find 2 by 3? This is minus 2 by 3 and this is plus 2 by 3. Therefore, let us box this point whose value is equal to 2 by 3. Next is minus 1. You can find minus 1 here. Therefore, let us box this minus 1. Like this, you can represent the given any rational number on the number line. First of all, this number line is a straight line. On this straight line, there are infinite number of points. Do you know what is the definition of a straight line? Straight line is nothing but set of infinite points. As there are infinite points on a straight line, every point may represent a number. Therefore, every rational number can be represented on a number line. And every irrational number can also be represented on this number line. Every point on this number line represents a unique number. Understood?